Hello, hi, my name is Sisanda or whatever, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new here, welcome, and this is my series called Inspired By. This week I interviewed Lindo Langa. He is a screenwriter and director, and he's worked on projects such as a People, Queen Sono and Gomorrah. He's also worked with artists such as Inati and Black Coffee.
When I was like 4 years old, I was raised by my gran, and my gran used to love to bake, but she couldn't take care of me and bake at the same time. So she would put on a movie for me to watch. And I got like really obsessed with like what I would watch. You know, it'd be like Star Wars was one of the VHSs that we had. We had Ghostbusters, we had The Mummy. Like there was just a bunch of good stuff. Sound of Music as well. And I thought that there were little people in. I thought that there were little people in the VHS.
Yeah, like performing especially for you.
Yeah, so like it's like obviously they're doing this thing for me, so I should like watch and then give them a break, and then and then it ended up and then I wanted to be one of those little people really badly, and then I realized that no, it's actually done before. Ever since then, I've been like learning more about film, and then I went to film school, and then I think you realize that you really like this thing. I really liked it, and I kept doing it. Now I'm just doing it every day. People do skip the film school.
Yeah.
Some people just have the gift. Like it's a natural. Filmmaking is a natural thing. Yeah. The younger you start, the better. I mean, Scorsese, Spielberg, they all started when they were like 10. Making movies in their backyards, and I never got to do that. I think what I learned in film school was, I'm learning to make movies now from people who do it every day as well. But I think what I learned in film school was how to collaborate with people. I'd rather mess up with someone who's also 18 and 19, like I did in film school a few times, than I would, now in a space where there's millions of brands, on the line every single day. I'd rather be indecisive. I'd learn how to make decisions in film school and then learn how to, be a better filmmaker in the industry. So I think film school did help me a lot. It gave me a buffer, like time to mess up, time to learn what I liked. I think it depends on the person, but for me personally, I had a great time in film school. I got to mess up in a space where it wasn't, in a space where I could consistently mess up, and I could learn and I could experiment. All those guys who are on set with me have 20 years on me. And sometimes you have to just make a decision and trust your gut. And I think that's what you get from film school. Because any mistake, I learned on that job that like, if I'm indecisive and I make a mistake, we're losing a day. And we're losing our shots, and we're losing money for a client who's paying for it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like we're serving a client essentially. And I'm happy that I didn't, for the first 3 years, I got to be making films. I was doing it in a space where I'm the client.
Yeah.
First year was really rough. First year was completely freelancing. I had no real sort of grounding. So that was 2018. And I think that's when I learned, okay, you kind of want to align yourself with the right people. The best thing I ever did for myself was getting a mentor.
Yeah.
And people who are in the industry. Like the executive producer of Queen Sono, Kagiso, I met him at a bar and I showed him my work on my phone. He watched all my movies and he was just like, cool, do you want a job shooting this show for Comedy Central? And then we did the job, Comedy Central together, and then he got Queen Sono, and then he brought me on. And I think from the start, he knew I wanted to do, like, I told him, like, I wanted to do, like, really cool movies. I want to do, big budget. I want to, and then when the big budget came to him, he gave it to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's and I think I've just got this thing where it's just, I overshare with people that I really want an Oscar. And I overshare that. So like everyone, like, no, it's not that it's hard to forget, but it's kind of like that guy only spoke about was movies and he wouldn't ask it. I said it's a little different because I fall back on set. I can fall back on my knowledge. I'm usually so well prepped that every single decision I've made on set, I've made 3 weeks prior.
Yeah.
So it gives me to find confidence in that, you know. And so, I mean, when you have to direct, whether it's Pearl Tusi or an unknown extra, I think the thing is just having that conviction in yourself. I think for me, what I find is like, I feel propped up by, I've never shot an original scene. Like I've never shot a scene that's completely from my head. I'm always able to say, have you guys seen Goodfellas? We're doing it like that. Because I know it's worked before and I can do it again. It's not, I don't think I need to be original in any way, shape or form. I just need to be good. Cinema's been around for like 80, 90 years. I usually rest back on like 90 years of cinema and I'm able to say, have you guys seen this film? This is how we're going to do it. And then, you know, get as close to whatever I see in my head. And then obviously it's not going to be the exact same thing that Tarantino shot because Tarantino did that. I'm doing this now.
Yeah.
So it's going to look different than now that it's different, but it's like an amalgamation of all these influences. It becomes my own thing. That's where I find my confidence in that, like, I can rest on what has been done before. Because if something makes me feel, I'd like to make the audience feel. Probably the Comedy Central job. We did a show for Comedy Central called As a People. And that was my first sort of big budget thing. Yeah. And the first day was like, you know, we got through the day and we shot it and got the coverage and everything was really great. Yeah, second day was a bit more of a rush and there was so many like moving parts, but the team was so great. Like there was so many great people and everyone was more experienced than me. And for some reason, they all trusted me. Yeah. And so I think that for me was like a really great moment. I just realizing that, okay, this is some like affirmation. These people trust me. They listen to me. You know, they listen to my direction. And then the show aired, and the response on Twitter was crazy.
Yeah.
And you know, and people on Twitter say that this is the kind of content they're waiting for from local broadcasters. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
And they'll never know that 21-year-old kid who did it. You know, another thing like that really was, and that was a big job for me. And then Queen Sono came, and it was a situation where you never struggle to find the set because there's big trucks outside.
Yeah.
And there's moments where it's like, yeah, dude, like this is it. Like you're here.
Yeah.
And they give you 300 extras and the whole crew, and you have to go shoot. Like those are really good moments. Those are really cool moments that affirm you as a director. I feel I'm never going to take it for granted that, you know, when you're 22 years old and there's someone's trusting you with Africa's first Netflix original, you know.
Yeah.
That was a really cool moment for me. I'm just grateful for all of it. I'm not gonna lie. Gomorrah is at a level as well where it's like, it's not, yes, we're on production break, but at least, you know, we know that the crew's taken care of. We know that we'll be able to go back.
Yeah.
Even if it's more stringent, even if, you know, everyone has to get tested, but we're considered important enough to be able to go back. And I think that's a cool thing to rest easy on. But it's also just one of those things where it's like, you also have to be smart about like, okay, well, I'm not shooting, or I'm not going to be able to go to set or the studio for like the next few months, and we can't shoot commercials. How are we going to make money now? You know, how are we going to keep busy? And I think we're in an industry where the demand creates itself. So everyone's at home, everyone needs content to watch.
Yeah.
And I think, so we noticed this just before. The streaming service that I'm at, we managed to connect a whole bunch of DJs with equipment, and now we're doing live streams with them, you know. And we set up Black Coffee's house with equipment the day before the lockdown, just so that he can do live streams every week.
Yeah.
Also be proactive in the time, you know. I think screenwriters right now and storytellers are less interested in the how. It's like no one's gonna write COVID-19 into a screenplay. I think what they're gonna do is, because of COVID-19, their screenplays are gonna look a certain way. I think it's gonna have an influence on how we shoot rather than the content itself.
Yeah.
Busters and things like this do shape, you know, art. If you look at Japanese movies in the 50s, Godzilla came about in the 50s because the Japanese got nuked in the 40s and they were scared of, you know, Godzilla is a giant lizard made by radiation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the early 2000s after 9/11, there was a spike in zombie movies in America because Americans were scared of an enemy that you can't see, this, you know. And I think it's also we're gonna get less scripted stuff and more honest stuff, you know, and more unscripted, more feel-good stuff. I think after this we're gonna get a lot of feel-good, happy material, just because when you saw it at the end of the Second World War, we got the best musicals for 10 years. I think after something traumatic happens, you tend to get stuff that celebrates the good, which is really dope and important. War, like what's happening in the world definitely plays into what happens in movies and pop culture. But I think it's the first time where it's something so, it's so like prolific, it doesn't allow you to just put it into a script. It was seen cheap. I think people are gonna want to, people are gonna have to change the way they shoot. Just the biggest advice that I can give anyone is just know your shit, like know what you're doing, know your job. If you're a director, know every job. And if you're a sound guy, you know sound. If you are an actor, if you're, and it's hard and it's boring at times and it's not easy, and you know it's not always going to be fun. You know, there's moments that we don't show. Research and learning about films and watching boring movies and all that kind of stuff. I think learning the craft is the most important thing. You know why you want to be in the industry.
Thanks so much for watching us. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget that this is someone's personal experience and someone's personal opinion. It doesn't mean that everyone's experience is going to be the same, or opinion of how things are going to roll out after this is going to be the same. But I do hope to be seeing some really happy ass content where everyone's living their best lives after this. I'll see you next week, same time, same place.